Hey guys, and welcome to another exciting episode of the MDVA Movie Club. I'm glad to have you here. I'm Dan.
Kayla.
Matt.
And unfortunately, Mr. Seth could not join us tonight, so this is going to be the Maryland part of the Maryland Virginia Movie Club kicking this off this time. And unfortunately, it was Seth's pick, so we're going to miss out unless he does a little bit of an add-on later, so we'll see what happens there. But the review we're going for is the Amityville Horror, the original version of this film. But before we get kicked off into the episode, wanted to kind of feel out how everybody's doing. How'd everybody's week go? Matt, how'd your week go, Matt?
You're doing a brilliant imitation of me, Dan. Thank you. My week has been busy, but good. Had a fun trip to Virginia this past weekend. Got to see all my old peeps there and hang out and have fun, and just back at work. Come Monday, you start back over and do it all over again. But I'm good. How about you guys?
Good for me.
Week was pretty good, and again, like you said, getting in the flow of things. Really excited for me and my job. We're going to be opening a new location in a little over a month, so getting people geared up in for that. But outside of that, Matt, did you see any other movies other than Amityville Horror this week that you'd like to tell us about, share your thoughts on?
I did. I was going to say no, but I did. I went and saw Halloween Kills, which, by the way, and I'm not trying to steal Dan's lead thunder, but I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who has watched our previous, there's no T at the end of that, our previous episode, Halloween H2O review. It is not only is Halloween Kills killing it, pun intended, in the theater, making all the money that you can make, but our Halloween H2O episode is killing it in the views. It has become our most viewed episode of all time. So thank you, everybody, for that. But anyway, sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
And how about you, Kay? Did you end up watching any other films?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I just want to restate what Matt just previously said. I believe at the time of the recording of this video, we're at about 130 views on the Halloween H2O episode. Definitely awesome. Couldn't do it without the loyal followers that we have. Typically that core group of 20 to 30 people. And then really this, apparently you guys are really interested in the Halloween brand. I know we talked a little bit about it. We had some differing views on where we were. But one thing's definitely for sure, we love what we're doing. We want to continue to put out shows for you guys. But one thing that I did want to announce, kind of tease a little bit, maybe we'll cover at the end of this episode, is this will be the last episode that we have under the MDVA banner, which really kind of sucks that Seth's not here to announce that. But that doesn't mean we're going anywhere, guys. And again, we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. But with Seth being out, he will obviously not be covering the news for us. So we have our usual host, Mr. Matt, is going to be doing that for us. So Matt, what do you have in movie news for us this week?
You just dropped a bomb. I didn't know it was coming. Okay, so the news. And this is very last minute, so I apologize. I didn't get to really go over a lot of this. But first things first. Being the Ricardos, Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem playing, of course, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz in a biopic about their marriage, about their life, and the whole I Love Lucy ordeal. They're not playing the Ricardos. They're not playing I Love Lucy. They're playing Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. And I gotta tell you, I watched the trailer minutes ago. When Dan, you sent me the link to some news, and I watched the trailer, and being a huge I Love Lucy fan that I am, in case anyone didn't know that I am, that kind of made my heart smile, which I know sounds weird saying that, but my heart actually smiled watching that and hearing that music and I immediately got sucked into that world, and I was like, okay, they've got me. So I will be watching that. I think it comes. I think the trailer said in December. I think in the theater. So I will definitely be there for that. Also, it was announced today that Star Wars, there's going to be a Boba Fett special. It is confirmed it will be premiering on Disney Plus for Disney Plus Day. Didn't even know it was a day, but apparently that's a thing. Disney Plus Day. Make sure you tune in to Boba Fett Star Wars special.
Coming after that Amazon Prime Day.
Yeah, I mean it must. Rob Zombie. Any Rob Zombie fans in the house? Okay. Well, I could take or leave him. It depends on the project. But Rob Zombie posted first look at his Munsters reboot, and I've watched the Munsters periodically throughout my childhood. My dad or grandmother or whoever would be watching it, and I would, catch pieces of it. So I'm not a huge Munsters fan, but I know the show, and I gotta say I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
So with that, you said you've seen the trailer for it?
No, there's no trailer. He just released pictures of the cast because they're up until now there had been no real cast released or photos of cast in character, and we got all of that. We got photo of the finished house, plus the 3 core actors in costume.
So are these actors more comedian type, or are they like actual horror type?
They are more Rob Zombie's typical slew of cast members, but I gotta say they look done up. They look pretty on point.
Yeah, they do. They look very similar to the show. So
yeah, like there's some. Maybe we'll throw up something on the show here, but there's something I saw with the side by side of what each one is supposed to be looking like, and it's pretty on point. So looking forward to that for Mr. Zombie. Let's see. There was a new home. Oh no, that we already talked about that. That was. Now I'm reading from Seth's notes. So we already talked about that. They announced because of Halloween Kills. I guess I should say they did announce that Halloween Ends, which is the final movie in the David Gordon Green trilogy that he's doing. Set to come out October next year, 2022. Will deal with COVID-19. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays a part, whether it's a big part, small part, just people randomly wearing face masks, or how that actually will come into effect. But because I mean, technically, Halloween Kills was filmed like right before / right in the beginning parts of COVID-19. So it didn't have to deal with it a whole lot. But I guess Halloween Ends is gonna feature that.
Incorporate that, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Wes Anderson's new movie, which I know Seth has been reporting on for multiple weeks, finally has a name. It's going to be called Asteroid City. I can't think of a worse name for a movie. But, who knows? Maybe we'll see. Hold all judgment till I see a trailer. DC Fandom happened. If you don't know what that is, it's like an online event where they release all kinds of new teasers and trailers and things for fans to see and tease what's coming for DC. The biggest things that came out of this, I mean, we got a Aquaman 2. I don't want to misspeak because I'm not 100% sure on this. I think we got an Aquaman 2 trailer, or maybe just first look. But the 2 biggest things we got were, of course, a Flash teaser trailer, which of course saw, I jumped for joy because Michael Keaton is of course voiceovering the entire trailer. And then at the end you see, spoilers, it's not really a spoiler, it's in the trailer, go watch it. You see them in the Keaton back, it plays the old like Danny Elfman 1989 Batman musical score in the beginning, and Keaton's talking. And then at the end, it shows the Flash and Supergirl and some other character, I really couldn't tell who it was, standing in Keaton's Batcave and asking him, "Are you in?" And then it shows the back of Keaton's head in the cow. like in the mask, and it's definitely Keaton's mask. It's got that distinct tall pointy ear, and it's him. And then of course it cuts and says the Flash, and then it shows after that it jumps back to the Flash in the Batcave pulling a cover off of a car, and of course the clip cuts before we get to see the car, but we all know it's the '89 Batmobile. So that's got goosebumps talking about it. That's awesome.
I think I read that the other person that's in there is the other Barry timeline. It's
Okay.
Barry from another timeline. I'm pretty sure it's what I read. So
I think I saw that as well.
Yeah, and in the trailer, Keaton's talking like you can go to any timeline and any world you want to, but you're here, and so I think that makes sense. So they're definitely doing like a Flashpoint for those comic fans. They're definitely doing like a Flashpoint type story, it seems, which we all kind of suspected anyway, with the time travel thing. The other thing that came out of DC fandom was the Batman trailer with Robert Pattinson, which everyone seems to be talking about more so than the Flash. And I'm not even trying to hate, but I gotta be honest, I wasn't impressed with the Batman trailer. The first trailer they dropped like a year or more ago, I was in, like, take all my money. But this trailer, they showed a whole lot more and a whole lot more of Pattinson. And it's not even like a Pattinson hate thing. It just didn't grab me. I didn't vibe with it, but we'll see. I'm going to watch it anyway, but it didn't speak to me on levels that the Flash spoke to me. Almost done here. M. Night Shyamalan's next movie. It's going to be released in 2023. It officially has a title, Knock at the Cabin. It's said to be a thriller, of course. So, looking forward to that.
Shyamalan loves cabins, man.
Does he?
Yeah, I think he does.
I don't know. What else did he have that had cabins in it?
Was it the one with Johnny Depp?
Oh,
The Secret Window?
Yeah,
that wasn't him.
wasn't M. Night Shyamalan.
That was not him.
I'm just letting M. Night Shyamalan down. Obviously, I'm a huge fan.
Cabin in the... Was that your next one? Cabin in the...
I just gonna throw out cabin until eventually it hit.
Cabin fever.
The Village, maybe. I think there might have been some cabins in the Village. But Marvel, I guess Disney pushed back a bunch of Marvel new release movies that were set to come out soon. Doctor Strange 2, Wakanda Forever. What's it? Black Panther. Sorry, I couldn't think of the hero. Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever has been pushed back. I think there was at least one more that I can't think of that was set to come out.
Guardians?
Plus, on top of the Marvel stuff, Indiana Jones 5, which is currently filming, also has been pushed back to 2023. It was supposed to come out next year, 2022.
Oh, wow.
So it's been pushed back a whole year.
Dang, I hope Harrison Ford makes it.
No, he'll definitely make it. It's just a matter of I hope that the movie is far better quality than the Crystal Skull was. Yeah. That was a huge letdown for me.
And all the more reason we needed Seth on this episode, because Seth has some weird love for that movie that I don't understand.
He loves that. Of course he loves that movie. But after making my M. Night Shyamalan comment, I'm definitely out of the running to make any kind of intelligent argument today.
So yeah, Indy. Oh, and actually, because seeing Harrison Ford making it, he's filming it now, so and best of wishes. We're not wishing anything on Harrison Ford.
Yes, I hope.
But
I'm a huge fan.
It has been said that he will be 82 when the movie is finally released.
Wow, I didn't even know he was that old.
Yes, that's why I'm saying I hope. Like, he was old in that last Star Wars, and I was like, dang.
Yeah, by the time that it's released, he will be 82 years old.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah. So, but I mean, hey, if he can still be Indy at 82 and make it look believable, then I'm there for it.
True. And I'm excited the cast is good. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. The last thing of the news, Mel Gibson Seth's boy,
Oh, cool.
was officially cast in the John Wick prequel series that's going to be on Stars, The Continental. It's not known what role he's going to play, but there you are. Mel Gibson is going to be a series regular, or at least in the series, for The Continental, the John Wick prequel show.
Okay. Well, Matt, thank you for the news. Very well done. Thank you for putting those stories together. Thank you, Seth, if you're watching this video. I'm sure you will about 15 times to get our views up. But
It's
sorry,
actually Seth that watched the other video all 130 times.
Yep, probably so. Yeah, and also like he's every single viewer on Mad Max episode except for I guess us. But anyways, awesome job. So typically in our MDVA movie club, this will be the point of our show where we turn it over for stats. I will not be doing this week. I'm going to turn it over to my lovely wife, Miss Kayla. Miss Kayla, what can you tell us about the movie stats on the Amityville Horror?
Okay, let's see. I'm reading this from Wikipedia, so forgive me if I keep looking up and down. I'm going to try to remember some of it. Okay, so this film was released in 1979. It is based off of a book from 1977, which that book was based on experiences and murders at that house. So semi kind of, exaggerated on, real life events. This movie is starring James Brolin and Margot Kidder. It had a budget of $4.7 million, and it brought in the box office $86.4 million. So that's a pretty good turnaround, I would say, like, at that time. Yeah, it's pretty good. Trying to see. The film itself was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Score, and it earned a Saturn Award nomination for Best Actress. Wow, I'm surprised by that. I'm sorry. A remake was produced in 2005, starring Ryan Reynolds. Let's see. Like I said, it's based on murders that happened in a house. A newly married couple and their children move into this said house after the murders, or a year or so after. And then they start to experience the haunting, supernatural elements that come along with it. And not just them, other people as well. The house itself is what they're saying is evil in this film. Attaches itself to other people throughout the film. And I think that's all I'm going to give it. I don't really know if there's any other stats. Okay, yeah, I'll read this too because I didn't even think about this. Okay, so this is a 2005 one, not the...
Whoops.
All right, let me see.
So we're going to pull up the stats real quick for you guys from Rotten Tomatoes,
okay.
A couple of the other critic
Sorry about
sites.
that. Okay, so it earned a 6.2 on IMDb, a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 4 out of 5 on Vudu, and 85% of people like this movie. And I want to say that's about it.
Awesome. So to kick it off, Matt, I believe that your rating and Seth's rating were the closest on the last movie that we reviewed. So why don't you kick us off since Seth's not here and let us know what your review of the movie is.
Okay. Amityville Horror, 1979. I've seen this movie several times. It's something I watch usually yearly as part of my October horror movie fest that I throw myself every year. And conveniently enough, this movie was already supposed to be watched by me this week because I schedule it out. And I didn't, not on the same day that I watched it, but it was supposed to be in that week anyway. So I was like, oh, this works out. I can just swap things. But I gotta tell you, I enjoyed this movie, and I have a real big soft spot for Margot Kidder. I grew up with her as Lois Lane in the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, so her alone brings me to this movie. However, my dog stopped licking me. However, After watching it again this year, it just didn't grab me as much as I had hoped it would. It's I don't want to call it. I don't want to say it doesn't hold up because there's other movies just as old, like Halloween. The original Halloween is actually a year before this movie, and I think it holds up well. But that doesn't mean every movie that old is meant to hold up. I just think this one doesn't do as well as holding up. It just feels very old. It feels not as relevant or not as current. It doesn't feel believable. It doesn't pull me in the way that I wanted it to. The things, I mean, there were moments that I liked. I like the scene where the babysitter gets locked in the closet and can't get out. That scene is done good here, but done even better in the 2005 remake. I like the idea of the father slowly going crazy, you know, going, little piece by piece, going mad. I like that whole story aspect of it, but I think it was done better in The Shining. If we're going to talk about that kind of thing. Overall, I love the Amityville idea. I want to go see the house in New York. It's still standing. The house that the events happened in. I would love to go see that someday. But it's just this version of this movie doesn't really do it for me as much as the remake does. And that's not something that I typically say. You will not hear me vouching for a remake very often. But in this case, I'm going to say the remake is better. So I'm going to give this original movie 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I'd like to go if that's all right.
After you, milady.
I just want to say, Matt, I completely agree with pretty much everything you said. And that's exactly the approach that I took to this movie. I feel like there were so many more movies released around this time, including The Shining, which I wanted to talk about, which the scene with the axe with him hitting the door, was like, you put them side to side and you're like, okay, it looks so similar. I'm thinking, did they copy this? Did whatever? But so to me, it was exaggerated in so many instances, and I feel like it was cheap scares. But I'm sure, and I've said this many times too, given it was made in the 70s, I'm sure at that time it was creepy, it was scary, and there's probably, not a lot of things that they saw in film, TV, what have you, that really, spoke on this topic, I guess, or kind of, tried to put the fear in your heart. A little suburban family moves into a house that's, slowly driving the father insane, hurting the kids, what have you. And also I wanted to touch too, because I said something about this being related, or this being based on the book itself. And I said this already 3 times, but I'm sure I've said this before. It's very hard to have a movie or a book translate to a movie. And there's some things that you can't express or show in a book, or you can't express to a screen. And I want to read this because I just want to see, because it's the same with 1408. There's just a lot of things for me that it didn't hold my interest at all. I didn't find it scary at all. And I really wasn't impressed with, I want to say, the acting, really. I wasn't. I thought it was kind of tacky, kind of exaggerated, kind of overdone. But I'm also in 2021. I'm not in 1979. So I can't be seeing it for the first time when I've seen it 100 times already. So I just don't think it translated well onto screen. That's my whole synopsis of this film. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. A 3 out of 10 is what I'm giving it. Because it didn't hold my attention. It was boring to me. And it was outdated.
Alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna lay it out there for you. I am not a horror movie aficionado. I enjoy horror movies, but I'm not gonna be able to read you back everything. However, when it comes to like true crime, murder mystery, stuff like that, I'm all over it. Like watching webisodes about the actual Amityville Horror House, all over that. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what Kayla said. So this was based on a book that was based on true events. We know when we have books that are based on true events and movies based on those said books of true events, there's a lot of exaggeration. This has been said twice already. With that being said, there are some key elements to the story that are true. There was a murder in the house where a gentleman ended up killing his entire family. He said that it was caused by voices in his head, what drove him to do that. They didn't really explore that a lot in the film, just the fact that a man murdered his family, and then it kind of kicked it over to the Lutzes. Then we ended up getting to this house. There are some things that are exaggerated from the book to the movie. One, the priest was mostly exaggerated. What ended up happening, he went to the house, he ended up feeling ill. He said he got physically ill when he interacted. He wasn't like swarmed with flies, but he ended up he did feel physically ill from the interactions. He didn't go blind, things like that. And then we go into the actual family. The father apparently did move into the house. His personality did change. Apparently he was like a man about town. He moves there and he's kind of like more withdrawn. He's not going out into the neighborhood as much. He's very like becoming like an old grumpy man, just kind of working on this house. So that's all based on events. When that family moved out of the house, hate to be the guy to say it, but there was no other family that reported paranormal things in this house. It was owned by 5 other families from then to today. Last sold for $600 and some thousand. This house did. Beautiful home. But all that out of the way, you have to look at when this movie was made. Matt made a point, Kayla made a point that, it had similarities to The Shining. One. It had River Boathouse back behind the house, which drew from Jaws. Okay, you think about this, yes. So you also had the priest. The priest. That was more of an element that they brought in from The Exorcist, right? So there are a lot of movie elements. I know Kayla's disagreeing with me here that were popular in the time this movie was released, that got incorporated to the movie because it was successful in other movies in the time. Now, that being said, I really did enjoy the story. Yes, this has aged. It's not going to be like my top pick for a horror movie to go back to. I talked a little about like I prefer like nonstop gory action. I don't watch a lot of those films anymore, but I appreciated the story here. I'm going to go a little higher than you guys. I would put it at a 7 out of 10. I personally have not seen the remake, but we did look at, we saw a review before we did this video about, a little bit about the newer version, 2005, and they said that that movie, in particular, focused on the victims of the first murder more so than the house being inhabited by evil. So the story you said about the babysitter, I believe in this film, where she got locked in the closet and the little girl wouldn't let her out because her imaginary friend told her not to. In the newer version, like the girl pops up behind her and like is saying like, "Look what Ronnie did," which is the person that killed her. So there are differences there. But I haven't seen that movie, can't really speak to it. But overall, I'd watch it again. So what do we have, Matt? Where did you rate this at?
I was at 6.
Kayla, where'd you have it at?
I had it at a 3.
A 3. Seth, what did you have it at?
We're gonna guess.
Hey everybody. Yeah, sorry I had to miss this past week. Had a lot going on. I had to work a long day at work, so had to miss it unfortunately. But my thoughts on the Amityville Horror. I really liked it. Thought it was probably a 7 out of 10 for me. I like James Brolin a lot. I've only seen him in The Car and then this, but I just think he's super cool. So I thought everyone did really, really well in the movie. Performances were all pretty solid. I like that kind of horror more than just like, I don't know, more like modern day horror, which like jump scares and stuff. I don't like that so much. I like the like suspenseful, I guess psychological horror. That's right up my alley. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me, and thought everyone did a really good job, and I really enjoyed the movie. So hope you all did too.
All right. So I think we covered that movie. Was there anything else, any other points we want to talk about in Amityville Horror before we move on?
Matt, was it worth swapping your other movie for? You said you were
for this week.
rearranging.
I mean, I was going to watch it anyway. It didn't bother me one way or the other. It did kind of take me out of the mood. It's kicking off this week already. I watched it yesterday, as we're recording this yesterday. So, but I mean, I've said it already. If you're going to watch the Amityville Horror, if you haven't seen any of them, or even if you have seen this one, I would suggest, and again, I am not a fan of remakes, but there's a select few, I can probably count on one hand, what I would say, watch the remake instead of the original. This is one of those movies, and they're both on HBO Max. So if you get time, definitely go check out the 2005 version with Ryan Reynolds, who's, of course, now is a huge star. Then he was just kind of starting to become big, but he's not, nowhere near as big as he is now. So that's a cool little tidbit. And like Dan said, it goes into the murdered family that was in the house before them a lot more. Dan, if you like blood, guts, nonstop killing, watch Halloween Kills, my friend. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got for Amityville. It's worth checking out, but it's extremely dated.
Yeah, it had a lot of potential. I think even if they did a remake now, of course, with like the visual effects and what have you, there is so much potential to make it such a entertaining, scary film now, and to dive into a whole different aspect of it too would be interesting to see.
Well, I know we don't really talk about like what would happen if we remade a movie today, but I imagine like again how it played into the influence of the movies of that time, that we'd be seeing some like Insidious, Conjuring,
yes,
absolutely,
yes.
with jump scares.
James Wan, yes.
More build up, how they use the music to build things up more.
The lighting, yes, everything. Yeah.
Funny you say that, because
yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
The Warrens from The Conjuring were a part of the Amityville Horror.
Oh, wow.
But I don't know. Oh, gosh, we sound so unprofessional. I don't know whether they talked with the original shooter or if they talked with like the Lutzes, the family that moved in after. I don't know. I'd have to do some research, but I know the Lutzes, the Warrens from The Conjuring, or the real life Warrens, were involved in that. And I know in one of the Conjurings, I think it might be 2. It's briefly the Amityville murder is briefly touched on in The Conjuring 2, I think, opening scenes. I've been waiting for them to do a Conjuring Amityville movie.
Yeah,
I think that would be great. That's a great way to bring the Amityville story back to the theaters. But it doesn't seem like they're going that route, at least not now. But
that's a shame.
Say Hollywood has a way of circling back. It's just a matter of time to when they do. So until then, we'll be looking forward to you. But anyways, getting off that topic, the Amityville Horror, I did want to, break some news, if that's okay. And then we can, like Matt, if you want to touch points on it. So recently as a group, we had discussed the MDVA, I'm not going to say a restructure, but let's say kind of an evolution or rebranding on our side. We love doing what we're doing. Even Seth, even though he's not here and he's bailed on us tonight, which we're very, very sad about. And Seth, you should be ashamed.
Shame is your name.
Yep. We have decided, I believe, to change the name of the showing program to Picture This Movie Reviews. So we are hoping, we are going to come out with a new Instagram page. We're going to reach out. I believe Matt was putting together a website for us, which will be released at some point later down the road. But one thing that we want to do is kind of switch up our routine. One thing you may have noticed on this episode, I ended up posting instead of Matt. Matt, I want to thank you because I think you've done a great job with the show leading off. You're a better host. You have better timing than I do by far, so thank you for that. When it comes down to our episodes moving forward, we're each going to take turns introducing our own episodes, kind of bringing up points, relevant things. We just want to relate to our audience more, and we're really excited to announce what our first episode is going to be for Picture This. I don't want to be the one to spoil that, so Matt, why don't you, talk about that for us?
Yeah, hold on. I think we're jumping the gun just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Because so Picture This is going to be the new name of the show. It's going to be the same weekly, same place, youtube.com/studio29films. And we're also going to probably provide a website, like Dan said, where you can also find it. But that change isn't going to go into effect until November, right? November 7th.
Yeah, we're wrapping up, right?
Yeah, the November 7th episode will be the official first episode under the Picture This umbrella. But next week, we're still the MDVA Movie Club, and we have a pick for that. So do we want to announce that and not the Picture This movie, or do we want to announce both?
To review what we're doing, I apologize for my misspeaking, whatever didn't get edited in this video prior. But we are going to wrap up with one big movie we think that we all already know we're going to like in our hearts, but it's going to be relevant to what's coming out in theaters
Matt
next
hasn't
month.
seen it, right? Matt has not seen it.
I still don't understand that out of you, of all people.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I have never seen the movie that we are going to talk about next week. And
how can you have an October film view without this movie?
Yeah, it's kind of vital. Like,
for those that don't know, we're not because typically Seth went, so then next Kayla would go. However, because it's Halloween next week as our episode debuts, we're going to do a group pick that we've already picked. Do you want to say what it is, or you want me to?
Well, since you've never seen it, I think I will bring it into the world for us.
Okay, bring it in.
Guys, we're going to be watching the original Ghostbusters movie. Yeah. So, and we did pick this as a group. One reason that we wanted to talk about this is because in November, as long as it doesn't get pushed back again, we are going to have the new Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, which is something I don't believe we talked about. Maybe we did last week. It was in the trailer. If you have gone to the movie theater lately, maybe you've seen it posted on YouTube. There was a new trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife that was dropped. And one exciting thing, and I am going to spoil the crap out of this, so if you're not ready, please, just tune out, but then come back, because we will miss you too much if you leave. They end up calling the number that's on the screen in the old Ghostbusters commercial, and it rings to a shop. It looked like an antique store of some type, and none other than Dan Aykroyd did answer the phone. So looking forward to have that. I would assume that the other two Ghostbusters, possibly maybe some more folks, will pop up in this movie. But I know
they do actually already.
We did see some of the characters from, I believe it was the first movie.
She's in the first and second. Are you talking about the lady?
Sigourney Weaver.
Oh,
right?
No, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the receptionist.
Oh, yeah, she is in this, but we also see some characters that are in the first film as well. So definitely looking forward to talking about that. Maybe we'll go into more detail when we talk about that film. So, awesome.
Yeah, it looks good. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Is Ghostbusters streaming anywhere? Has anyone checked?
Let's look.
I think the last time I looked, we'd have to buy, or rent, rather.
Oh, it just keeps coming up. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah,
And then
it
Ghostbusters
doesn't look like it is. So if you're watching this at home, boys and girls, unfortunately, you'll have to find Ghostbusters on your own. or if we do find it somewhere, we'll of course announce it next week where we watched it. But I'm sure it's available.
Currently streaming on FX Now, Sling, and Fubo TV. Can be rented for $3.99 via Fandango, Amazon Vudu, Redbox. $3.99 on Apple's iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube, Microsoft Store, AMC On Demand, and Flick.
So it's not on Hulu?
It does say it's available on Hulu Premium Service, so we'll have to get an update on that and see, maybe we can have access to that, but we'll definitely let you guys know.
There it is.
Any pre-thoughts to Ghostbusters, Matt, since you haven't seen it?
I've not seen it. I've seen bits and pieces of it throughout my life, more so as a child, none as an adult. I don't. Everyone has told me that it's really good. The parts that I remember watching just never grabbed me and made me like, oh, I need to watch this. But it's just one of those things that like I know I need to watch. I just don't.
It's like a rite of passage.
Yeah. Like The Godfather. You need to watch it. You just don't until you're forced to. So here I am being forced to watch Ghostbusters.
There you go. So. We all have to make our sacrifices. We also had to watch Mad Max too.
So one thing maybe we'll move away from.
We probably can't make the promise that when we transition into Picture This in 2 weeks, we won't cover any more Mad Max movies. We probably can't make that promise.
Please. The movie god.
But really, ultimately, with Picture This, guys, we want to move what we're doing to be a little more professional for you and give you more chance to interact with us. We have had some interaction, which is kind of petered out over the last few weeks. I'm not sure if you're getting any dibs or reacts on Instagram or comments or things, but we're not seeing the responses on the YouTube channel that we really wanted. But the whole thing that we want to drive us is kind of you, and then also the movies that are coming out, which we'll revisit, older ones, and talk about the new ones coming through. Again, we really love this. We really love interacting with you guys. Please give us your suggestions, your comments. Let us know what you're thinking about with Picture This. Let us know about these episodes. Are we doing a good job? Is there something like you'd like to see us do more of, less of? Would you like me to shut up? Which, probably needs to happen sometimes.
That's what they tell me. They tell me I need to shut up because I talk too much.
But no, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we're going to have one last heck of a show for you on our next view. And yeah, guys, thank you. Is there anything else anybody has to say? Kayla?
Yeah, I do. She just went on forever.
Yeah.
So like Dan was saying, we definitely want that kind of engagement from you guys. And that's why we're creating that new Instagram page. We want you guys to get to know us too and what we like. Because even though we're picking these films, some of these films we've seen, some of them we haven't. But we want you guys, like I just said, get to know us, get to know what kind of movies we enjoy, the genres we enjoy, because that's the whole point is we're trying to enjoy this and we want you guys to enjoy it just as much as we get out of it. So like Dan said too, please, if you have any kind of suggestions, not Hereditary though, because I will not watch that movie. That movie is no. Just putting that out there. Do not recommend that movie. But please let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you've seen and haven't seen, what you're looking forward to. Because, odds are we're probably looking forward to that too. And I don't know if this was touched on, but and I don't know, Matt, if you're going to touch base on this either, or Seth, sorry. We want to be interactive as well, to maybe trying out live watches on Facebook or Instagram, what have you. But also, if there are bigger movies coming out or sequels to movies like that, we kind of want to, have a video or a side video or something dedicated to that, or dedicated to a new movie that we've all seen that's coming out. Something that on the sidelines, not a whole video dedicated to it, but something on the sidelines. But that's all I just wanted to throw out there.
Like a bonus episode. So,
right.
So that's something we've been talking about a lot this week. So if, there's a new Marvel movie coming out, but Seth picked, for the love of God, Mad Max 3, then we're going to talk. I can't even say it. I can't even bring myself to say the words. We're going to talk about Mad Max 3 in our regular show format, but then, maybe, we'll have a bonus episode for Doctor Strange 2 or whatever the new thing is that we didn't get to pick, but it's current and it's relevant. And, so that way we can cover all bases. I wish kind of we had already been doing this. It's a great idea. Because
honestly, it keeps the episodes that we're in shorter and more relevant to the topic, and then also gives us a chance, like you said, like when there's something coming out in the movie theaters and we all want to see, like we can also do that. We don't have to rob half of the episode to talk about those films, and then another half of the episode to talk about what we want. So. But anyways,
Very well said.
that's what we have, guys, for today. Thank you again for tuning in. This is the MDVA Movie Club. For a couple more times at least. We will always be the MDVA Movie Club, especially in our hearts. Hopefully the VA part of our club will show up next week. We love you. Treat each other well, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you, guys.
Love one another.